The divine cycle concludes 3 miraculous revelations confirmed to free you from their games. In the heart of the quaint English village of Welford, whispers of hope echoed through aged stone walls, illuminated by flickering candlelight. Ruth, devoted parishioner and mother of 3, found herself at her beloved St. Margaret's, kneeling in prayer. The air was thick with desperation, her heart sought answers where doubt lingered. The church, once bursting with laughter and song, now felt heavy under the shroud of looming closure. With fellow parishioners dwindling, the very essence of faith seemed to hang by a thread. Just then, an uncanny stillness enveloped the congregation. In that sacred silence, Ruth felt a divine presence sweep through the space, like a warm breeze carrying celestial promises. A voice, clear and commanding, rang through the silence, 3 miraculous revelations shall come, birthed from your deepest faith. Gasps rippled through the pews, eyes wide with disbelief, yet a glimmer of hope ignited within them. Could this be true? Could the divine still weave miracles in their lives? As the prayers were uttered, the scent of incense hung sweetly in the air, intertwining with expectancy. Ruth felt a promise igniting within her heart, but despair clung to her soul. Her husband, Tom, battled an unforgiving illness. The specter of terminal disease danced like shadows at their door. How could she ask for miracles when life felt so painfully brittle? Yet, she clung to those divine words like a lifeline. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days turned to weeks, tension rising like tides. Ruth gathered the villagers, igniting a fervent session of intercessory prayer, pouring out her grief in earnest beseeching. They gathered close, hearts knit together, creating a thrum of communal hope that rose to the heavens. Then, like a sudden flash of lightning during a storm, came the first revelation. Tom's laughter filled their home once more, as he stood upright fully restored. The villagers gasped, clapping hands to mouths, eyes glistening with awe. Hope surged like bright sunlight through darkened clouds. Even those once embittered began to soften, but it wasn't long before doubt returned with its venomous bite, as the villagers peeled back layers of their past. The third revelation loomed ominously. It whispered a demand for forgiveness, deep-rooted grudges that threatened to unravel their hard-won progress. Ruth felt the weight of a long-standing feud between her family and the Fletchers tighten like a noose. To release such animosity meant more than words. It meant confronting shared wounds borne over the years. Breathless with apprehension, she called for another gathering beneath the old oak in the heart of the village. As she spoke, vulnerability spilled from her lips and radiated hope. Could forgiveness illuminate their path to the next miracle? Just then, dark clouds cast shadows over the village, a harbinger of the struggle that lay ahead. The air crackled with tension, leaving them all questioning how far they were willing to go to unlock the divine truths promised to them. Would they break the shackles of the past, or would their faith falter under the weight of their choices? As Ruth's heart raced with uncertainty, the journey toward redemption and peace had only just begun. Underneath the ancient oak, villagers gathered tightly, their expressions a mix of hope and anxiety. Ruth stood before them, her heart pounding against her ribcage as she prepared to address the crowd. She could feel the weight of their unspoken burdens, shadows lurking in the corners of their hearts. Gathering her thoughts, she took a deep breath, speaking with a voice both strong and clear. "We stand on sacred ground," she began, her conviction ringing true. "Here, in this very spot, we have the opportunity to begin a new chapter. God has graced us with miracles, yet we must not let old grievances hold us back. Forgiveness is not just a word, it is a true release, a sacred act of love. Our faith beckons us to heal." The villagers murmured amongst themselves, glances exchanged like fluttering leaves caught in the wind. Some faces reflected understanding, while others twisted in skepticism. Questions hung in the air. Could forgiveness truly rewrite their future? Ruth pressed on, her spirit urged by a deep conviction that radiated from within. Together, we can lift the burdens of the past. Can we not see the healing that will come when we release that which no longer serves us? Our capacity to forgive will open the door to our collective miracles. For we cannot let the shadows of yesterday snuff out the light meant for tomorrow. And as she spoke, a gentle warmth enveloped the crowd. The cool breeze began to stir, laden with the scent of blossoms, reminding them of new beginnings. Encouraged, Ruth gestured toward the Fletcher family, their faces a blend of cautious hope and apprehension. Tension swirled in her heart, but she mustered the courage to extend a hand. "Edith, Samuel," she called, her voice softer now, full of compassion. "Will you join us? Let us take this step together." Edith, the matriarch of the Fletchers, stepped forward, though her brow remained furrowed. The villagers watched in silence, breaths held tight with anticipation. Ruth felt as if time itself stood still, the weight of generations resting upon this moment. "We have harbored ill will, for too long," Edith began, her voice trembling slightly. "Our families have been at odds for years. Yet, I see that the goodness of God calls us to something greater." Her words cracked open the hearts of those listening. A murmur of agreement swept through the crowd. It was as if a tide had turned, the murky waters of resentment beginning to ebb. "I, too, have been burdened," Samuel Fletcher added, stepping into the light. "It is time we laid these old wounds to rest." As they exchanged tentative glances, then took steps toward each other, an energy began to swirl about them. Hope blossomed, warming even the most guarded souls. Ruth's heart swelled as she observed momentous change unfolding before her eyes. With trembling hands, the two families reached for each other, and a collective breath was released, a promise formed in the air. Suddenly, a burst of sunshine broke through the clouds, illuminating the gathering like 1,000 blessings descending from above. Gasps of awe rippled through the crowd, eyes widening in wonder. The village felt alive, breathing a new essence of possibility. But just as joy began to swell, a lurking uncertainty pierced the atmosphere. Were they truly ready to sever the bonds of the past? How would they face the confronting pains, buried deeply in the soil of their hearts? The next revelation awaited, and it hung delicately over them like the echo of a distant bell. Ruth's heart raced. They had stepped into a divine mystery, and the path of forgiveness had opened a doorway to new miracles. But what awaited them just beyond? What challenges would grip them in the face of freedom? It was time to find out. As the sunlight danced upon the gathering, an ethereal hush fell over the crowd. The air was heavy with anticipation, alive with the potential that flowed among them. Ruth felt the energies resonate, connecting heart to heart, spirit to spirit. The path of forgiveness was not a simple road, it was a winding journey filled with new revelations and uncharted territories. "Remember," Ruth spoke, her voice a soothing balm amid the thick tension, "the act of forgiveness is a journey of the heart. It may stir discomfort before the dawn of healing. Let us embrace the unease, not with fear, but with faith." The Fletchers stood before the villagers, their hands in a tentative clasp, echoing the act of unity in front of them. Ruth's heart quickened as she acknowledged their bravery. These moments colored by vulnerability were sacred, a holy dance revealing God's mystery. Still, not all gazes gleamed with optimism. A few looked away, wrestling with doubt, their brows furrowing deeper. Was it possible to truly forgive? Would the ghosts of yesteryear linger still, casting shadows over their newfound light? Ruth sighed softly, sensing the struggle. She stepped closer, speaking with a gentleness that seemed to cradle each spirit. Forgiveness does not mean the pain never existed. It means we choose to step away from its hold. It is like a seed sown in the soil, nurtured by faith to blossom into something beautiful. As she spoke, the breeze rustled the leaves of the ancient oak, mirroring the whispers of God among them. For every heart clenched with unease, it seemed one began to soften, the seeds of faith taking root. "Let us share stories," Samuel offered now, his voice steadier, "not of our grievances, but of our dreams where we envision our lives free from the weight of the past. Who among us feels the stirrings of hope in their soul?" Encouraged, a few villagers stood to share glimpses from their hearts. Old Mr. Thompson recounted tales of laughter, of shared bread and kinship over the years. A young mother spoke of her longing for unity for her children, where laughter could reign instead of silence. With each shared word, a collective breath was taken. Energy surged through the assembly, creating an unseen bond that transcended grudges and pain. Ruth watched as understanding danced in their eyes, slowly transforming despair into belief. "Let us pray," she urged, the call a soft invitation. "Let us ask for guidance as we take these crucial steps in faith." Heads bowed in unison, and hands joined together as they formed a powerful circle around the Fletcher family. A sacred hush surrounded them, enveloping the gathering. Ruth could feel the heartbeat of the village, a rhythm of faith and fragility intertwined. In that circle, as they prayed, a warmth began to swell among them. An ever-growing flicker of light illuminated the uncertainty, revealing that every heartache could pave the way for something greater. And then, in a powerful moment, a voice rose above the others, a voice trembling, filled with emotion. "I am ready," said young Eliza, a child of 8, her words echoed with remarkable clarity. "I want to forgive. I want to know what it feels like to be free." That innocence opened the floodgates, and tears streamed down faces, both young and old. A wave of empathy rushed through the circle. In that moment, they realized the essence of faith was not just in the grand gestures, but in the small, brave offerings of the heart. Ruth's heart soared. The spirit of collective healing was palpable, but deep within, a question lingered like a treasured secret. What else awaited them on this journey of forgiveness? What deeper revelations would emerge from their shared vulnerabilities? The gentle rustle of the leaves embraced her thoughts, and even the light danced differently, hinting of miracles yet to come. Was this divine transformation truly just the beginning? The story was far from over, and there was so much more to uncover. The essence of faith beckoned them forward into an unfolding mystery. What awaited them in the shadows behind their joy? As Eliza's words hung sweetly in the air, a new energy pulsed through the gathering. The cries of forgiveness mingled with whispered prayers, building a chorus that rose like incense toward the heavens. Ruth felt as if the ground itself was alive, responding to the heartfelt intentions of the villagers. "Let us not forget," she spoke again, her voice infused with wonder, "that the act of forgiveness will cause ripples beyond our understanding." Her eyes illuminated with excitement as she pointed to the horizon. "Just as the morning sun spreads its light across the land, so too shall our forgiveness illuminate the path for others." The villagers, still moved by the moment of shared vulnerability, nodded in agreement. It was as if a veil had been lifted, allowing them glimpses of the freedom that awaited. The atmosphere grew thick with hope, each heart slowly beginning to embrace what could lie ahead. A gentle breeze swept across them, folding the warm air around their bodies like a heavenly embrace. In that moment, Samuel spoke up, bolstered by the stirring spirits around him. "Let us reflect on the stories of our lives, the tales that shaped us. For in each brokenness, a lesson lives. What truth can we discover in our pain?" Ruth watched as the villagers exchanged glances, some reaching deep within to uncover wounds they had carried for far too long. A few hands reached out, trembling yet bold, ready to reveal their truths. Mrs. Jennings, a figure known for her fierce demeanor, hesitated at first. Yet, compelled by the light of compassion surrounding her, she began. "Years ago, I lost a dear friend," she confessed, her voice wavering. "Bitterness and rage consumed me, but I realized that holding on to those feelings only darkened my path. I want to forgive her. I want to step into the light." Gasps of empathy swelled among the listeners, mirroring their shared pain. Ruth felt the Holy Spirit guide her, and she stepped closer to Mrs. Jennings, her heart vibrating with understanding. "Bravery finds its way in vulnerability," she whispered softly, "and each step taken in faith leads us closer to true liberation." Suddenly, the clouds parted overhead, and a beam of golden sunlight broke through, gracing the villagers in a warm cocoon of light. It felt like a divine affirmation, a sign that they were on the right path. Murmurs of appreciation spread, touching even those souls who had hesitated to embrace the power of forgiveness. The stories flowed freely now, as seemingly small as ripples in a pond. Each tale revealed more about the hope and grace woven through their community. Mary, a quiet woman with downcast eyes, shared how forgiveness had buckled under the weight of shame. Yet here she was, lifting it piece by piece. As every heart spoke, Ruth sensed a tapestry of healing emerging, each thread colorful and unique. But then, as the stories wound down, an unease began to settle. What lay ahead? How would this journey lead them past their current fears? And were there still hidden wounds waiting to be confronted? Ruth's spirit felt the tension lingering like a shadow among them. Remember, we stand on the threshold of discovery, she reminded them gently. Forgiveness is not just a destination, it is a process. There is courage waiting in the depths of our souls. But beneath her reassuring words, uncertainty fluttered in the hearts of some. Was the challenge of embracing forgiveness truly within reach? The sun continued its ascent, casting a brilliance that sparkled like diamonds upon their faces. Ruth closed her eyes and whispered a prayer, asking for further revelation of this unfolding journey. She felt the warmth of divine promise wrap around her, urging her to trust in the unknown. As she opened her eyes, the promise of a greater truth flickered at the edges of her consciousness. Together, we will discover deeper layers of our faith, she said, a challenge lingering in her tone. What will we uncover when we fully embrace the gift of forgiveness? The villagers remained silent, anticipation shimmering in the air like summer heat waves. With hearts intertwined, they began to ponder the journey that lay ahead, a journey into greater depths of love, faith, and understanding. What revelations awaited them just beyond the fragile veil of their comfort? The divine cycle was poised to bring transformative revelations they could hardly imagine. A hush settled over the village, a sacred silence that vibrated with expectation. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows that danced playfully around them. Ruth sensed the collective heartbeat of the villagers, a rhythm of joy and trepidation intermingling. Each soul was an open book, pages fluttering in the gentle breeze, waiting to be filled with the ink of new stories. Now, my friends, Ruth beckoned gently, let us reflect on what we have heard. Each story, each confession, is a treasure waiting to be unearthed. She glanced around, making eye contact with Mary and Mrs. Jennings, who wore expressions both somber and curious. Forgiveness not only grants us freedom, it grants us new life. What will arise from our willingness to forgive ourselves and each other? A ripple of conversation swept through the villagers as they considered her words. Samuel, still animated by the spirit moving among them, took a step forward. Imagine how deeply healing it could be to lay down the burdens we carry. Think of the weight lifting, no longer dragged down by our own fears. His voice was laden with emotion, resonating through the group like a powerful bell, striking at the core of each heart. The sun, now a fiery orange, illuminated the faces of the villagers with warmth. Ruth watched as doubt began to melt away, replaced by glimmers of hope. Forgiveness illuminates not just the paths ahead but the past as well, she continued, allowing the hidden wonders to rise to the surface. Then, as if responding to her words, a child's laughter echoed through the air. Little Daniel, with his innocent joy, skipped towards them, holding a wildflower bouquet tightly in his tiny hands. "Look, everyone! I found these!" he shouted, his eyes sparkling with delight. His youthful exuberance cut through the weight of the moment, reminding them of the beauty that could be found even in life's simplest offerings. A wave of laughter escaped from the gathered villagers, breaking the tension that still clung to some of them. Ruth smiled warmly, recognizing the divine in this interruption. "Yes, dear Daniel. Just like these flowers, forgiveness blossoms in the most unlikely places. Can we allow it to bloom in our hearts?" As she looked around, she noticed the shifting expressions, some faces now bright with the light of understanding, while others still showed reserved caution. "Remember, embracing forgiveness may feel daunting," she reminded them, "but what if on the other side, we find joy we never thought possible?" The sun continued its descent, casting golden rays upon them, and Ruth felt the spirit gently nudging her. "Let us take a moment to meditate," she said, guiding them. "To join our hearts in a shared affirmation of surrendering our burdens and embracing the gift of each other." They all closed their eyes, inhaling deeply as the warm breeze wrapped around them. Ruth offered a prayer of surrender, releasing the heaviness of grudges and regrets. "We seek unity and peace, Lord. Help us to forgive, and in our forgiveness, let us find healing." In that sacred space, the villagers felt a surge of power, a collective energy knitting their hearts even closer. some began to hold hands. A gentle warmth spread among them, wrapping each spirit as they opened their eyes to find the radiance of each other bolstered by a newfound hope. Suddenly, Ruth felt a stirring as though the Holy Spirit was propelling her forward. "It is time," she said, her voice filled with conviction, "to confront the fears that still linger. What holds you back from fully embracing this freedom?" A weighty silence embraced them once more, each individual reflecting on their inner conflicts. What if letting go meant opening their hearts to deeper love? Yet, even as she felt their readiness to explore further, she also sensed the weight of unspoken fears hovering. What were they still afraid to confront? The shadows lengthened, mirroring the mysteries that lay ahead. With determination shining in her eyes, Ruth posed the question that awaited a courageous answer: what revelations are waiting on the other side of forgiveness? And so, they stood together, hearts poised and minds open, ready to uncover the layers that lay beneath their protective shells. What awaited them might just change everything. As silence enveloped them, Ruth's heart raced with a combination of hope and anticipation. The air crackled with unspoken words, feelings that needed to surface. Eyes opened, glances exchanged. There was something powerful brewing amidst them, a readiness to dig deeper, to unveil what often lay hidden in hearts. "Friends," Ruth called out gently, "what fears have kept you in chains?" The villagers shifted, murmurs of hesitation laced among the congregation. She sensed a wave of vulnerability rising, bubbling beneath the surface, ready to be released. Just as the sun kissed the horizon, casting a blend of gold and violet across the sky, new possibilities illuminated their hearts. "Let us share what burdens we've carried too long," she encouraged. "In sharing, we can begin to liberate ourselves." With a nod of affirmation from Samuel, others felt the pull of courage amplify within them. Mary, the eldest among them, stepped forward. Her voice trembled slightly, but there was fire in her spirit. "I have felt the pain of betrayal that has lingered far too long. My heart has grown heavy with it," she confessed, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. An understanding hush fell over the crowd, their hearts reverberating in rhythm with her honesty. Ruth reached for Mary's hand, warmth enveloping them both. "In the sharing, we unveil light," she said softly. "As a community, we stand ready to uplift each other." Next, it was Samuel who spoke up, revealing his struggle with resentment from his past. "I held on to my anger as if it were a treasure, but now I realize it was just a key, resting in my pocket, a key that could have unlocked freedom." His voice shook with emotion, stirring in the assembly a powerful recognition of their collective experiences. Ruth marveled at the strength blossoming before her. "Exactly. Each story brings forth healing," she replied, feeling the spirit move within their crowd. "Resentments can cover our joy, but when we share our burdens, we strip them of their power." One by one, others joined in. Mrs. Jennings shared her fear of inadequacy, and young Abigail spoke of her struggles with envy. Each testimony, woven like a tapestry, rich with the colors of their vulnerabilities, began to shift the atmosphere. As they spoke, Ruth felt stirrings within her, echoing back their pain and praise. An invisible thread connected them in their shared struggle, and it was as if the heavens themselves listened intently. "With every confession, we lay down stones from our hearts, revealing pathways to grace," she reminded them, her voice now booming with passion. "Forgiveness is not just an act, it is a journey we take together." The first glow of stars pierced the ethereal canvas, mirroring the light igniting their spirits. Ruth invited them once more into a moment of quiet. "Let us breathe into this moment," she suggested. "Exhale the heaviness and inhale the grace." They all closed their eyes, breathing deeply, exhaling not only fears but all the shadows that had overshadowed their joy. In their shared stillness, Ruth felt a powerful surge within, the pulse of transformation, the whisper of uncertain yet divine whispers, unraveling the very fabrics of what kept them bound. "Allow this moment of confession to birth forgiveness," Ruth urged, her own heart resonating with divine energy. "What dreams, what destinies may rise from this fertile soil? What revelations will emerge on the other side of our release?" As they opened their eyes, Ruth caught the eye of Daniel again, the innocence of his laughter shining brighter than the stars above. "Look, Ruth." He bounced on his little feet, "the flowers bloom more beautifully when you take care of them." His words hung in the air, laden with divine wisdom. Could it really be this simple? Cultivating the soil of their hearts could lead to blooms of hope and joy? Ruth smiled, for she sensed that indeed, the village stood on the brink of a new beginning. With eyes lifted to the heavens, she posed a contemplation, one that would guide their next steps in this unfolding journey. As we walk forth, what might we discover about ourselves and what wondrous manifestations might await when faith and forgiveness intertwine? In the quietude of night, a spirit stirred, wrapping around the villagers. What lay beyond this pivotal moment? Only time, whispered prayers, and unfolding revelation would tell. A gentle breeze swept through the congregation, carrying with it the whispers of the night. Each villager stood in a sacred hush, their thoughts dancing in the stillness like stars unfolding in a midnight sky. Ruth's heart felt the weight of the moment, each breath intertwining with the collective longing for healing and hope. Let us explore our dreams, together, she encouraged, feeling the warmth of unity radiating among them. What do you desire? What do you yearn for? Let that yearning guide us. Samuel, filled with newfound courage, looked towards the heavens and spoke, I long for peace. Peace for my family, for our village. I want to see us thriving, free from the burdens of the past. His eyes shone with a fervor that ignited others around him. Yes. Mary echoed, her voice rising with strength. Peace is not just the absence of conflict, but the presence of grace in our hearts. One by one, each villager started to voice their dreams. Abigail spoke of wanting to embrace her talent for singing, to share joy through her voice. Mrs. Jennings wished for a garden full of flowers to nourish her soul and lift the spirits of those who visited. Each aspiration wove a vibrant new tapestry, vibrant threads intertwining, encapsulating their hopes for brighter tomorrows. As these dreams were shared, Ruth sensed the divine spirit moving even closer. Such raw vulnerability was akin to an offering a holy sacrament born of the heart. What if these dreams, dear friends, were not just distant wishes but seeds planted within our souls by a greater love? What if God Himself desires for us to reap joy in abundance? Her words hung in the air, creating a tangible expectancy. The villagers absorbed them, their faces alight with the sparkle of possibility. It was as if they could already feel the blossoming of their dreams taking root in the soil of their collective faith. From the back, Daniel stood, his small voice slicing through the growing energy. What if God makes our dreams real? Can we trust Him to do that? His innocent question struck a chord, resonating with the full force of hope and uncertainty that coursed through their hearts. Yes, my dear Daniel. Ruth replied. That is it. What you ask carries the essence of faith. As we surrender our dreams to the divine gardener, He nurtures them beyond what we can imagine. A soft murmur of agreement rolled through the crowd, hearts pounding in rhythm, each a beat closer to a shared revelation. Ruth continued, faith is not merely believing it can happen, it is trusting with unwavering hearts that it will. In that moment, a wave of peace washed over them, washing away remnants of doubt as it passed. Then a gentle glow formed in Ruth's vision, like an ethereal veil unfolding, revealing shapes illuminated by a divine light. The villagers turned their eyes toward it. What is that? Whispered Mrs. Jennings, her eyes wide with wonder. It is the promise of our faith, Ruth breathed, her spirit fluttering at the sight. Each glimmer is a reminder that our desires are not lost, they are being prepared. As she spoke, the glow intensified, tangible and alive with vibrancy, pulling them together as one. Their dreams, once scattered like seeds in the wind, began to coalesce into a shared vision, entwined with purpose and divine intention. Hold on to this moment, Ruth urged with rising excitement. We are on the brink of something miraculous. Can you feel it? Every heart here is connected to a greater story. And as they breathed in that electric air, dancing around them was an uncontainable energy of love, forgiveness, and hope. With the night unfolding secrets yet untold, Ruth raised her arms toward the sky. What revelations await us, dear friends, and how shall we respond when the divine promise breathes life into our dreams? An echoing silence filled the air, pregnant with possibility as they stood united, gently cradled in the hands of grace, awaiting their next steps into the unknown. What awaited them in this sacred journey? In the stillness that followed Ruth's words, the air thickened with anticipation. The villagers were no longer just individuals, they had transformed into a communion of spirits, bound together by shared hopes. They felt the presence of something greater than themselves, a divine current flowing through their midst, urging them closer to the heart of creation. Suddenly, a soft shimmer danced above them, a lighthouse in a sea of uncertainty. "Look!" exclaimed Abigail, pointing towards the light, her voice quivering with awe. The villagers turned to see radiant figures emerging from the glow. They were ethereal yet familiar, faces warm and smiling, embodying the very essence of love and compassion. Ruth's heart soared. "These are angels, my friends. Messengers of hope sent to remind us that our prayers do not go unheard." Each villager squinted, disbelief mingling with wonder, as the angels descended closer, their wings lifting the air like whispers of the divine. One angel stepped forward, her countenance shining like the dawn, and spoke with a voice that resonated deep within their souls. "Fear not, for we bring tidings of joy. Your dreams are cherished. They have been seen, nurtured, and now are ready to bloom." The warmth of her words wrapped around them, soothing their doubts. "It is time to awaken," the angel continued. "The seeds you planted in the soil of your faith are about to burst forth. Embrace your dreams. Embrace each other." Ruth's eyes widened, the possibilities rushing forth like a river breaking free from an icy grasp. Mary, inspired by the vision, stepped forward, her voice trembling but firm. "What must we do? How do we help our dreams grow?" The yearning in her heart was palpable, sparking a collective resolve among the villagers. "Simply believe," the angel responded, her smile radiant enough to chase away the darkest shadows. "Act as though your dreams are already manifesting. Let your faith be the sun that warms the earth where your dreams reside. Nurture one another, share your aspirations, and support each other." At that moment, it was as if a veil had lifted. Samuel nodded, ignited by the angel's message. "Let us gather our hands, friends. If we are to nurture each other, let us do it in love and solidarity." Without hesitation, the villagers formed a circle, unity encircling them like a protective embrace. Ruth felt heartbeats synchronize, a rhythm of trust anchoring them. They intertwined their fingers, eyes closed, hearts wide open. As they breathed in unison, Ruth prompted them, "Let us dedicate this moment to our dreams." Softly, they began to share their aspirations again, louder this time, their voices merging together like a heavenly chorus. Each declaration lifted their spirits, spiraling upward, entwined with prayers of gratitude and love. Ruth opened her eyes, looking towards the heavens. The glow began to pulsate, and the air around them shimmered with the promise of something wonderful. The villagers felt lightened, unburdened by the worries that had plagued them. Yet, as the angels listened, their expressions shifted from delight to solemnity. One angel spoke gently, "There will be trials ahead. Your faith will be tested, and the path may twist unexpectedly. But remember this night, the dreams ignited within you can never truly fade. They are alive." Tears brimmed in Ruth's eyes, but she felt resolute. "We will hold on to our dreams. Even when the winds blow adversity our way, we will remember the light." As the last echo of their declarations faded, a silence filled the space, one that was sacred, pregnant with potential. The villagers found themselves bathed in an incandescent glow, awash with divine love. An electric tension hummed between them, igniting hope that coursed like lifeblood through their veins. "Will you trust?" the angel whispered, hovering above. "Will you venture forth with love as your guide?" A whisper of agreement flowed through the circle. Ruth could hear the heartbeat of faith in every promise made, tethering them to each other and the divine. As the angels ascended, their figures slowly fading into the velvety night, Ruth knew the journey was far from over. "What awaits us on the horizon?" she whispered to herself, her heart racing with potential. What tests of faith and wonders lie ahead? They stood fortified, eager for the dawn of their dreams. Each villager shared a knowing glance, united under the banner of divine promise. And in the hushed night, the world felt anew, filled with expectation. What challenges would they face to uphold the faith in their hearts? What beautiful struggles would pave the way for the blossoming of divine dreams? As the night deepened, the villagers lingered in the sacred silence, each heart echoing the undeniable truth of their shared experience. The air was thick with divinity, and the echoes of the angel's message danced in their minds like stars illuminating the dark. Ruth felt a pulse of energy surge through her, a flickering flame igniting deep within. She turned to Samuel, whose eyes sparkled with wonder. "Do you feel it?" she asked softly, her voice trembling with excitement. Samuel nodded. "It's like the very earth is alive, urging us to move." One by one, the thoughts of each villager began to coalesce into a vision, a vivid tapestry of their dreams intertwining. Abigail's desire to heal through herbal remedies, Mary's ambition to foster the children in need, and Samuel's dream to restore the community library materialized before them, each woven from their collective hope. Suddenly, a gust of wind whipped through the clearing, whispering through the trees. They all turned, and a shiver of anticipation coursed through them. The wind carried not just the chill of night, but also a sense of purpose, a reminder of the journey that lay ahead. The angel's words lingered in Ruth's heart, hovering over her like a protective cloak. "Trials ahead," she murmured, glancing at her friends, "but we are not alone. We have each other." "Should we begin then?" Mary suggested, her voice a blend of eagerness and vulnerability. "What can we do tonight to let our dreams take root?" Ruth smiled. "Let us share what we each hope for, and in doing so, we'll lay a foundation, a place for our dreams to grow." One by one, they opened their hearts. "I want to create a sanctuary of herbs," Abigail chimed in. "A place where others can find healing through nature." "I wish to open a learning center for our children," Mary added, tears glimmering in her eyes. "A refuge where they can grow, learn, and dream." "I want to breathe life into our library," Samuel continued, his fervor contagious. "To ignite the spark of imagination through stories." With each sharing, the light surrounding them shimmered, brightening as if welcoming their aspirations. The ground felt alive, trembling beneath their feet, attuning to the rhythm of their dreams through thoughts filled with love and conviction. Suddenly, from within the circle, a young voice piped up. Jacob, the shyest of the villagers. "I want to draw paintings of our hopes," he murmured, his cheeks flushing. "To remind everyone of the beauty we can create." The villagers looked at him, and then, like a wave, their spirits lifted. They began to cheer him on, their encouragement a symphony of faith ringing into the night. "Yes. Let your art shine," Ruth exclaimed, feeling a warmth envelop Jacob as he beamed. Though the joy stirred inside them, a sense of heaviness began to creep back. The angel's warning echoed within. Adversity would arrive, they must be ready to face whatever shadows lay in their path. With hearts intertwined in faith, they must navigate the trials that would test their resolve. "Trust the process," Ruth reminded them, a bright spark of hope alight in her eyes. "Our power lies in our unity. With every challenge, we will grow stronger together." In that moment, no darkness could overshadow the flicker of light ignited among them. They felt an unshakable bond lifting them, closer to the divine calling resonating in their hearts. Yet, just as joy filled the air, a sudden chill brushed past them. Was it merely the wind or a gentle reminder from the heavens? Ruth turned her eyes upwards, searching for the stars that now shimmered brilliantly in the night sky. "Something tells me we will soon learn what we truly are made of," she mused, curiosity dancing in her heart. As the night wore on, humble yet strong, the villagers exchanged knowing glances filled with resolve. What awaited them on the morrow? Would their faith remain steadfast in the face of trials? What other divine revelations would unfold as they embraced their shared journey? The path ahead was uncertain, yet they stepped forward together, ready to let their dreams unfurl in love's embrace. The dawn broke over Welford with a brilliance that cast aside the night's shadows. Ruth drew a deep breath, feeling a swell of hope. The village had awakened, not just to a new day, but to a promise of transformation. The air sparkled with expectation, each villager stirring with newfound purpose. Ruth gathered the community once again beneath the ancient oak. Its branches stretched wide, a testament to resilience and unity. Villagers filled the space, ready to share their dreams and confront the trials that loomed ahead. Ruth stood tall, her heart resonating with divine certainty. "Today is our day of action," she declared, her voice steady and warm. As the sun climbed higher, residents stepped forward to share their plans. Samuel waved his arms passionately. "I've gathered books for the community library. We will create a haven of knowledge, a beacon for our children." His excitement radiated, igniting a ripple of enthusiasm among those present. "I will cultivate herbs, just as I dreamed," Abigail added, her eyes shining with anticipation. "Together we will create a sanctuary of healing in our village, a place of nourishment for both body and soul." Their dreams blended into a beautiful tapestry, each thread brightening the collective vision. Cheers of encouragement filled the air, a chorus of faith that resonated with the heavens. A sense of solidarity wrapped around them like a warm embrace, and Ruth's spirit soared as she witnessed transformation unfold before her. But beneath this golden moment, Ruth remembered the words of the angel, echoing with gravity. Trials awaited. "We must prepare for what lies ahead," she cautioned gently. "Though our intentions are pure, the strength of our faith will be tested." The villagers nodded, acknowledging the weight of the journey they were about to embark on. "We must stand united," Ruth affirmed, taking each hand in hers. "In our challenges, we will find our strength." Just then, a whisper of wind swept through the gathering, rustling the leaves of the oak as if nature itself affirmed her words. In that moment, Tom emerged, his own health restored, a testament to their shared faith. The villagers erupted in applause, celebrating not just his recovery but the strength of their communal bond. As the day wore on, they began to take tangible steps. They cleared the village square, planting seeds in gardens, in their hearts, everywhere life could flourish. Eliza and young Jacob painted murals of their dreams upon the whitewashed walls, filling the village with vivid colors and inspiration, but shadows lingered. As night fell, whispers of doubt crept into some minds. "What if our plans fail?" A voice in the crowd hesitated. Ruth felt it, the undercurrent of fear beneath their excitement. "We must trust the journey," she proclaimed, her heart steady in resolve. "Even failure brings lessons, guiding us toward greater strength." And just then, the sky erupted in the most brilliant display of stars. They twinkled above like divine affirmations, a celestial audience witnessing their awakening. "Look!" Samuel pointed, his voice filled with awe. "The heavens celebrate our unity." Hope illuminated their hearts anew. In that quiet, Ruth felt a divine presence, a warmth nesting in her chest. "We are not alone," she reminded them, "our faith, entwined with love, will carry us through." As they gazed at the stars, Ruth's heart aligned with the divine promise of miracles. "Let us carry these dreams forward and embrace every challenge. Together, we will blossom, just as the flowers bloom beneath the sun's embrace." With gentle resolve, they finished their day beneath the ancient oak, arms entwined, dreams in their hearts, ready for whatever trials awaited. Their laughter rippled through the night, a beautiful sound, resonating with divine joy. They understood that in unity, in forgiveness, was where true transformation lay, a potent reminder that hope, love, and faith shone the brightest when kindled together, and so it began, a journey of empowerment and discovery, woven with divine revelation, pulsing through each heart. The villagers of Welford had embraced their calling. This was not just the end of one chapter, it was the prologue to countless stories yet to come. As these warriors of faith prepared to embark on their path, a lingering question salved their souls: how brightly would they shine in the trials ahead? The answer was in their hearts. The flame of faith was ignited and ready to lead them forward into the unfolding glory of their divine journey. Now, dear friends, this is the moment you need to act. Subscribe immediately to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive faith stories that will lift your spirit. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, because it really makes a difference. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this powerful ending. Your voice matters. And don't wait even one more second. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this miraculous manifestation. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting this channel through these actions. Let us spread the light together.